Fuck you, JP. I know. I was waiting for it to be timed.
Timed it out. She waited perfectly.
Fuck you, JP.
Fuck you,
Let's
JP.
just say it on air. Fuck you. Oh, wait, you're still dead, by the way. But, fuck you too. So,
Yeah, you're ghost.
welcome
Fuck
back
your ghost.
to our second segment of Drop Frames. And let's just going to get right to the topic that we're here for, which is women on Twitch. This, for some reason, is a thing.
We're awful
that we
people.
have to talk about, that we have to
We're
address.
the worst.
They're literally
So the worst. We're horrible. We're absolutely horrible. And I guess we're just going to figure out why that is. That's going to be...
Can that be
We're gonna-
the official topic? Why
Yeah.
are women horrible? In quotation marks. Brought to you by
Why are
Drop
women on
Frames.
Twitch horrible, and how do we fix this problem?
Yeah. It's actually something that's been getting a lot of attention, especially recently. And one thing that we're going to address later on is a certain video that I think a lot of people have seen. We'll also go over just like basically what we all feel about, being a female and using Twitch, because, it's different. And we're going to figure out how. So first thing I'd like to do is talk to everybody about what was it like for you to get into streaming? Did you face anything different? And I'd like to kind of go around the circle here, because we got like a little, if you can see on the thing. So we're going to start with Dodger. You can just talk about, what was it like to get into streaming for you? You came from YouTube, so how was that for you?
I think I'm the only one here who started off doing YouTube.
I did. I started with YouTube, yeah.
Sick.
But my channel is a lot smaller.
Yeah, I did YouTube for, I want to say like 3.5 years before I started streaming. I would only stream when it was like, I'm going to stream for 24 hours for a charity thing, and then not touch my streaming channel again for, 1.5 years. And then, not this year, but last year around January, I was like, you know what? I want to start streaming more, because I had been on, I do a podcast with Total Biscuit and Jesse Cox, Co-optional Podcast, and we've been doing that for like years now. I was like, it's not like I don't stream, it's that I personally don't stream, and I wasn't sure why I had such a weird aversion to it. I kept feeling like, well, if I say something that's horrible, I can literally never take it back. There's a weird anxiety about that. And, it's just weird, because going from, a platform that is specifically designed for you to take a lot of care and produce something that is only seen by people once it's to your liking, versus a very, very different sort of format where it's like, I press a button, I am entertaining maybe for however many hours I decide to be entertaining. I press a button, and that is literally the extent of what I do. It's like super, super different concept. And I've learned to actually really love it. It feels way more, I guess, relaxing than creating content for YouTube, because with YouTube, I have to think so much about what I want the final product to be. And with streaming, I found that I got to just be like, hey, so I'm going to do a thing. Got my drink, got my game. Awesome. Well, let's do that. And then a few hours later, I go, okay, well, I'm gonna eat dinner. Goodbye. And it just feels so nice. Like, both platforms have so much goodness in them for completely different reasons. So that's how I got into streaming, and I love it now. And I've been streaming, I've been trying to stream at least 3 times a week. So I'm not as consistent as some people are, but I am regular, I guess.
Yep. And this is about the same for Renee, but we're going to jump to Casetron first, because I'm going to go...
the circle.
That's fine.
Well,
I can see the circle, so
I was told it's a square, so...
Oh, well.
That's why women on Twitch are terrible. So.
I know,
You don't even know shapes.
Squares.
Fucking awful.
So yeah, Casey, by the way, congratulations on 2 years of streaming, Casey.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've been
I noticed
streaming
that
for 2 years now. Let's make it 3.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. Whenever I first started streaming on Twitch, it was really just kind of like, I need something to do. Like, I just wanted something to do. I was really bored, and I played World of Warcraft by myself pretty much. And I really just wanted a hobby. And after thinking about it for, I don't know, several months, I was finally just like, you know what, I'm just going to do it, because there's all this that like goes into it. And before you actually like dive in and do it, you're like, oh, well, I'm going to have to deal with this. And like, you really like, I don't know, like I know myself, like I wasn't super confident in my appearance, and that's what made it hard for me, sadly. But I finally just did it, and I turned on my stream, and I streamed to like 3 people, and that was it. Yay.
How long did it take for you to grow beyond, let's say double digits, like into the triple or quadruple digits?
I think like my first week of streaming World of Warcraft, I think I was at like 100 viewers probably my first week.
Oh.
And I remember starting to hit around 1,000, like rarely, after 8 months.
Okay. That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
The initial growth in that first week is like quite, like I would say that's quite substantial. And then like, yeah, about 1,000 viewers.
It was. Like I felt like I got a lot of viewers in that first week, and it was because I was pretty controversial, more or less. Yeah.
Yeah. And Renee, you also came from YouTube.
Yeah, I started on YouTube in
that?
like 2009 on a different channel, not under the one I have now. That's where I started with like YouTube. And then I deleted that channel, and I kind of like took a break from YouTube, and then I came back in 2011. And around 2012 is when Twitch, well, I guess 2011 and 2012 was like when Twitch was like coming about, because I would still stream on like live stream and Ustream, and I would do my best, but like it was really hard and obnoxious trying to stream on those platforms. And then so I officially like, I guess, started streaming. I was partnered on Twitch in 2012, in February 2012. And then I was, yeah. So, and then I did that like part-time with YouTube while also working full-time for like a year. And then just over like a year and a half ago, I decided to go full-time with streaming, and I don't do YouTube anymore. So I consider myself a full-time streamer now.
So you don't do YouTube at all? You don't upload like VOD highlights or anything?
I used to do, I still want to do highlights, but I have like such a hard time trying to balance that I end up like putting my stream by the wayside. Something always gets put on the back burner because I have terrible attention span, and my time management sucks. So I would like to still do like highlights and stuff, but I honestly don't enjoy YouTube. I don't enjoy making videos. I hate editing. Like I like reading comments, and I like when people are able to watch my content and when they can't see it live. But I hate the platform just bores me so much. I get nothing out of it. Whereas when I stream, like I get so much more out of streaming, and I have such a way better time when I stream. Like even when I stream when I'm in the shittiest moods, I end up being in a way better mood than I started. Like it's kind of like going to the gym. Like you just kind of need to get it going, and then you feel a lot better. Mainly because I believe streaming is like the ultimate ego stroke. So I think anyone who is sane enough to try streaming or doing YouTube is based, we like attention. I think that's fair to say. Yeah. So
we're hams.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So for me, I actually did start streaming. I think it was, probably really late 2012. I streamed for about a year, and then I stopped. About a year and a half or so, something like that. And it was all part-time. For me, I'm very much just, I like to be in I'm the opposite of that. Putting myself in front of the camera is a really hard thing for me to do. I prefer to be behind the scenes. I like to yell at streamers when they're muted, That's what I enjoy doing. I like to moderate a chat. I like to feel that I can just sort of look my absolute worst and not have to put myself in front of a camera, and I don't have to feel exposed. It's definitely a level of comfort for me to just interact with Twitch.
So shut the fuck up.
So fucking pretty, Shannon.
I have never once looked at you and been like, oh, Shannon doesn't look good. I'm like, I'm always just
Shannon did not try to.
Yeah, exactly. The time I was like, whatever.
Wow. Okay. Thanks. me feel really awkward right now. But yeah,
Stroke the ego.
I like it was a really weird decision because about a year ago, I was made an admin on Twitch, and I was still streaming part time, but very much any spare time I had started being filled up with all this extra stuff that I really wanted to do. I also took over ownership over the Twitch subreddit. So that's reddit.com/r/Twitch, plug, go sub. And basically, I spent all of my time on that and trying to help out the community that way and trying to, provide support for streamers and users on Twitch and just whatever. So I kind of transitioned away from streaming. I keep telling myself I'm going to get back into it, but then it kind of never happens. And I think definitely a comfort level issue is there, and that's something I'm still trying to figure out why that is. And it might actually have something to do with our topic today. I don't really know. I think that I can't answer that even for myself. So, but yeah, that's actually something I wanted to ask you guys about too. So in either transitioning from YouTube to Twitch or just creating your channel on Twitch, I want to know what kind of issues or even positives, so negatives or positives, that you guys feel you encountered that are actually because you're a woman. So was there anything, especially starting off, like not even once you're established, but just starting off, did you find anything that was particularly positive or negative that came out of, you think, being a female? Anybody want to take the stage on that?
I think there's definitely a positive when you, I feel like, so I've been in the community for a long time and I've made a lot of friends with a lot of different people. And as anyone knows, when you're streaming on Twitch, it helps to know people. Like, it's all about networking if you want to grow at any rate. And I don't know if I would attribute it to my being a female, but I feel like, especially because my streams, I'm not very good at video games at all. I'm decent at best. But I think, if my stream is very relaxed, I try and be funny. I tell terrible jokes, and I don't know if it was because I'm a woman and people get surprised when they see a chick who's legitimately funny, or if it was because I'm actually, funny regardless of my gender. I have no way of knowing that because obviously I'm not like meeting myself, but I think I met a lot of different people in the community, and continuously over and over again, I'm like, am I really this funny, or is it just because I'm a chick and I'm funny? Like, I had that thought a lot, a lot when I was first like growing and people would meet me. I have that fear of like, do they really like me for like who I am, or do they like me because, they want something from me? Do they want to like, I don't know, date me or something like that? Or am I just, or am I actually that cool of a person? I'm kind of like tooting my own horn, but that's the only way I grew in this community, is because I knew so many people who were kind enough to link my channel out and support me and stuff. And I'm eternally grateful for that. And I don't think any of the friends I've made did that because I was a girl or attractive in any way. But I'm sure that probably played a probably attributed to it somewhere.
Yeah, I've definitely wondered that as well. Because so I've done Coffee Time for like years now. It's on hiatus right now, but it's, for those of you who don't know who I am, it's literally a vlog show where I sit in front of a camera. I don't edit it at all, and it's just me talking for 10 minutes about just fucking whatever, right? And doing that show for so long and then coming onto Twitch, I feel like it's really easy to just kind of like sit there and talk and just like bullshit for a really long period of time, and interact with the chat and kind of multitask, I guess. And I've also wondered the same thing, where like people show up and they say like, oh my gosh, you're so funny, or you're so fun to watch, or like, watching your stream makes my day, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
It's legitimately, I'm legitimately curious, and at the same time I know that I spent so much time on YouTube developing kind of a relationship with so many people that there's a possibility there that it's just like kind of an element of comfort. Like, we know each other, right? Like, they like watching me because they've known me for 5 years now. So yeah, I don't know. That doesn't answer the question. That has nothing to do with your question, but
Well, it kind
yeah,
of
but what
does. I mean,
Renee's-
I mean, yeah, it kind of ties in. Yeah.
JP's not here, so who cares?
Yeah. Fuck you, JP.
Fuck JP.
Yeah, fuck JP. What about you, Casey? Is there anything that like you feel, positive or negative that kind of fell out at the beginning because you're
Um,
a woman?
I mean, I think it's definitely undeniable that whenever you're a female on Twitch, you're going to get more viewers. I mean, I won't necessarily say that it's that you're going to get more viewers. I think that you're going to get more traffic to your stream, but whether you keep them as viewers is completely up to you. But
That is huge.
I think it's pretty undeniable that as a female streamer, you're going to get some more traffic because you stand out in like a largely male dominant field. As far as like negatives of being a female streamer, I'm not going to say it's being trolled because I think males get that just as much, just different things. I think that a negative of being a female streamer is being judged off of your appearance so much. Like, that kind of sucks. Like, I see it a lot in my stream, and it's not so much that it bothers me being judged off of my appearance, but I'll see it like all the time. People will come into my chat and they'll say something like, go watch X and X girl streamer. She's so much hotter than Casey Tron. And it's not that they're saying this girl is hotter than me that bothers me. It's just that them saying that is saying that female streamers are only measurable by how attractive they are.
Right.
I don't know. I think that's a negative. I don't know. That's really all I have to say about it, I guess.
I think it's irritating when you're like discounted a lot. There's like women are discounted in streaming a lot, whether people assume that women can't be good at a game because they'll see a thumbnail and they're looking around and they'll be like, I want to watch someone who's really good at League of Legends or something, and they'll see a girl and automatically assume she's probably not very good. Or any other game for that matter. Call of Duty, any skill-based game, if people are watching for skill, I feel like inherently people do not watch a woman for skill. They'll watch a woman for whatever other reason. And I think that's a huge, that sucks. Like,
I wouldn't say that that's necessarily like a huge negative, though. I think that can also be a positive because I think females in streaming have a way better chance of being like a personality stream versus a stream you just watch for gameplay. True, which in my opinion is a stream that you want to be. Like, whenever I first started off playing World of Warcraft, since World of Warcraft has died, more or less, there's a lot of streamers who just streamed World of Warcraft and they just had really great gameplay, and their streams are becoming more and more obsolete because that's what they did. Whereas with me, whenever World of Warcraft started to die, I was able to carry my fan base over to a different game because I'm more or less a personality streamer. So I think there are some positives and negatives to it, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point because I mean, like, obviously the term variety caster is something that exists on Twitch. Those are people who play lots of different kinds of games, and they'll jump from game to game depending on whether or not they've completed it or there's a new hot game at the moment. But you play 2 games on stream. That's it. But you're right. I think if another game came out that you wanted to play and you potentially wanted to move away from League of Legends, you've already built that community over the last 2 years that you could carry with you to that new game. And even though you're not necessarily a variety streamer, you're, like you said, a personality streamer. So you've got that community that's going to support you, regardless of what is on stream. So I can see that being both like, some might see it as a negative, but it can work as a positive depending on what your approach to streaming is. One thing I think we should totally just get out of the way right away is addressing the style of your channel. Like, your channel is so incredibly unique. And I want to, like, this is the thing. We started talking about planning this, right? This episode, we talked about the topic, we talked about who we'd want to have on the cast, and your name was one of the immediate ones that came up. And oddly, when we announced that you were going to be on the show, I still had people responding to me on Twitter or saying in chat
that were upset.
That you were sincere with your approach to your channel. That they couldn't possibly see it as satire. And
I'm finding out more and more that people have a very hard time understanding satire. Whenever I posted on Twitter, hold on. I posted that tweet on Twitter yesterday, and it was like a screenshot that I made, and it was in reference to the Sky Williams video. And I was addressing like how different male streamers are, and then I addressed female streamers as a whole, and sarcastically I said they're all money grubbing attention whore sluts. And I had multiple people that thought I was 100% seriously calling all female streamers money grubbing attention whore sluts. And I'm just like mind blown.
I mean, it is true though. We are.
Yeah, it is.
It's 100% fact.
So this is what I mean is and I went back actually because I know you did an AMA a long time ago, and I went back and I read it, dude, and it kind of worries me a little bit that people don't quite get satire. I mean, I know recently. Let's see if I can pull this up. You did a Patreon, right?
Oh God!
Oh my God, your Patreon is
Patreon
glorious.
Page is amazing.
Oh
It's
my
like
God, I love the Patreon
gold.
so much.
So good.
Hold on.
God,
I'm gonna
where
get
is
it.
that
I'm gonna get it.
Patreon? Oh,
Yeah.
it's my favorite thing in the entire
So
world.
this for chat is Casey Tron's Patreon, whatever. Anyways,
It's
okay.
really
Chat's
good.
moving really fast because JP's getting a ton of subs. You're welcome, JP. Just saying. So there we go. This to me was comic brilliance. Now, satire isn't for everyone. I totally, I get that. That's cool. Not everybody enjoys Stephen Colbert, Saturday Night Live, all that kind of stuff. It's not for everyone. But I was just almost out of my chair laughing at how funny this was. And it really needs to be said. If you think that Casey Tron's approach to her style in her stream is sincere, then we are correcting that issue for you right now. It's satire. So there you go.
How could you?
Right?
Oh my God.
The mystery
Specifically,
is
like this
over.
Patreon page, how could you read it and be like, "Oh my God"?
A lot of
like,
people
take
did.
it seriously. It
Fucking,
blows
like-
my mind.
Yeah. I just love that the only pledge amounts are $1,000 a month, $5,000 a month, and $10,000 a month.
I just like the last line of the $5,000 a month saying, "This will truly make you feel like we have a very special relationship, and like I don't just want your money." Like that's perfect.
I don't know. And the reason that I don't know. I mean, I did it for fun mainly. But one of the things that I saw that set me off is I just hate seeing the entitlement of some people who like come into streaming and they're like, I quit my job to do this. I think I should get money. Like, I see it happening more and more, and it's just so frustrating to me. I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, we could probably do a whole show just talking about perspective in being a streamer, and not necessarily just entitlement, but that the whole spectrum of being part-time, working your ass off, trying to get to the point where you can go full-time. That whole thing, the whole financial side of being a streamer, I think could be an entire episode. JP, there's your idea, so you're welcome again. But
well, like with YouTube, when I first started doing YouTube, gaming stuff, you couldn't make money off of gaming stuff.
Right.
Like, people were just doing it because they loved it, and people were, like trying to be casters just because they really loved the game they were casting, or doing machinimas because it was just really fun for them. And, it wasn't too long after I started that you started being able to monetize your videos. But up to that point, people were living totally normal lives, like having to, work their ass off at school, at a job, whatever, and then did this because they really loved it. And looking at the same space now is so fascinating because they're just, there are kids that are like 14 years old who make more money than me.
Oh my God.
Just like,
I mean,
Thinking about that just scares the
happened?
shit out of me. Like,
even with Twitch, like a year ago or even 2 years ago, it was hardly even monetized like it is now. Like, I remember whenever I first started, you didn't even read donations. Like, there weren't the donation alerters and the subscriber alerters. Subscriber buttons were like a very rare thing. There were only a few streamers who had them. So I think even back then, like, it's like you didn't start streaming because you wanted to make money off of it. You started streaming because you just wanted something to do.
yeah. And I think that's definitely changed a lot. I
or
think
you
there
wanted
was
the
a lot
attention.
of people.
Like,
Yes.
Well, yeah,
talking about
yeah.
before.
I mean, that's the only reason I started streaming. I was like, I'm not getting enough out of my YouTube. I'm gonna start streaming now too. And,
Yeah.
Can I add that Patreon page, I did not I did not link a PayPal to it, so you cannot donate to that, and I did it intentionally.
Wow.
Yes.
I
Oh,
also forgot to mention that my second favorite line is, "This will help me pay for all the top-notch gaming equipment that my stream desperately needs. I refuse to stream on an i5."
Yes, the
I refuse to
entitlement
stream
you
on an
just see.
i5.
for
Yes.
me, the best line in here is people just like me because I am a very individual. Full stop.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
I am a
Casey
very
Chen has
individual.
really great grammar a lot of the time, so.
That's awesome. I mean, like, and that's something that like we can also start to consider. I mean, aside from being a female, like just in general, like if you're trying to give advice to people on starting a stream and who actually want to take it seriously, and not seriously as in the content serious, but the career side of it, take it seriously, what would you say would be like a single piece of advice that you could give just right now? Something short. What would you say?
Talk to your viewers. Talk to your chat.
Yeah, chat.
That's the
interaction is really
biggest
important,
thing,
I think.
100%.
I could agree with that actually.
I would still just say prepare to get discounted for being a chick.
Mm.
I think that's if I'm speaking like exclusively just to girls, then I would say prepare for that to happen a lot. Prepare for people to not see your true value as a caster until you jump through a billion hoops and prove to them that you are worth their time. Yeah, I would say that's like huge.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing that I want to get to as well is I do want to talk about whether or not it actually is harder to be a female streamer versus a male streamer. But I mean, before we even get to that, I mean, when you're in those early stages and you're growing your channel and you are a female, do you find that you have to rely heavier on moderators? You know, is it something that if especially if you want to be growing a community along with your channel, how would you suggest that other females just starting out should deal with the kinds of things that you guys faced when things were back? And I even think it might be harder for them now, considering that there's already all of this tension out there, and that there's also so much more traffic on Twitch. I mean, starting out two to 3 years ago on Twitch, I mean, the site had, what was it? I think somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 2,000 partners. If we look at like 2.5, 3 years ago, maybe somewhere around there. I'm probably wrong on that. I don't know. And as of January this year, it was 10,500. So the competition is steep. So if you're a female just starting off, what could you do to get that edge? What would you say?
Well, answering the question of like what you should do about creating a community, like trying to cultivate the community that you want, I would say, man, take advantage of that blacklist. Holy shit. Because like, for me, I don't really have to deal with a lot of sexism or like really degrading talk at all, because I have mods that are super on it, and I have a bot that we have just like made sure knows how to pick out the bullshit and get rid of people. So like, just make sure that the sort of people who can show up and really affect the feel of your chat and your community in the moment, try to do anything that you can to make sure that stuff is just like gone. Like, you don't have to see it, so it doesn't affect you mentally in the moment. You can continue to just be, your entertaining, wonderful self. And also the chat, the people who are in your chat enjoying the stream and talking amongst themselves, they also don't have to deal with it, because the second that person says something disrespectful or awful, they're gone.
Yep.
And it takes a little bit of work at that too. People will show up and say something and you're like, what? How is that word not like blacklisted? Yeah. Why is that word not on the list? I don't understand. And you have to add things as they come. But once you've really like figured it out, it helps a lot. It helps so much, because like somebody in the chat not too long ago was saying, wow, it sounds like a lot of the problems they have are just the same problems that male streamers have. And like, the problems are definitely similar. I would say that the frustrations are very different. There are things that we get frustrated about that we have to deal with that maybe male streamers don't really have to think about all that often. So,
and it's very off camera, right? It's the kind of stuff that you deal with when you've turned your stream off. That's actually where, I mean, from what I've seen, and feel free to jump on this, anybody else, and correct me, but it feels very much that a lot of the issues that female streamers face, that they face when they turn off their stream, that's when things pick up. That's when you start to see some of the harassment in your private message, in your inbox on Twitch, on your Twitter feed. That's when things get a little bit nasty, maybe in your YouTube comments. It's not so much when you have that chat there. There's a level of interactivity. Like, even when you've got maybe 50 to 200 viewers, you've got some people there that have already gotten used to you, that are, it becomes a self-policing community, so long as you've been ruthless from the get-go. So as long as you're clear on where your comfort levels lie at the very beginning, you're not really going to have any issues with your chat when you're live. And everything happens as soon as you turn your stream off and you are just on your own again. Because all those viewers are not there to help you police your life, help you police your social media and everything else that comes at you in all these different aspects and all these different channels. That's what I would say.
Yeah, for sure. And it does definitely link into growing yourself as a streamer as well, I think, because the community that you create, those are the people that are going to stick around and like build to become a bigger and bigger community of people that like to watch you. And if you have them from the very beginning be very strong, understand who you are, what you're okay with, what you're not okay with, and how to help you continue to create that community when you're, focused on a game or focused on something other than the chat, it creates such an element of relief, in just streaming in general, because the second that a dick shows up, everybody's like, yo, stop being a fucking dick. And then if they really did say something awful, you can be like, oh, you're banned. Problem solved.
Yeah. Bye.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's definitely helpful having, I don't know, if I would argue that if you are a female caster starting out, I would say have some friends be there and mod them and let them be in chat. Like, you, honestly, I don't tell anyone. I don't tell anyone to start streaming until they've made a place for themselves in a community. At this point with Twitch, and that's across all genders. You can't go into Twitch being somebody that nobody knows, even as a friend. Whether that be like you need to be a part of somebody's community, you need to get to know people, because you're not going to get anywhere otherwise. That's just like the truth of where Twitch is at this point. Unless like something viral happens, which is super rare, you're not going to just like grow immediately. So I mean, if you're, especially for a female caster, I would just say get your friends, like your best friend or whatever, and say, hey, I'm gonna stream this game. Can you mod and and hang out with me and stuff like that. That's what I did when I first started going like casting, because I had friends and I was just like, hey, can you please mod? One of like the first, like one of my, not my first, but one of the worst streams I've ever had. And I mean, I've cultivated this sort of reputation for me being like, I'm a pretty hard ass person with my streams. When people come into my streams, I tend to, and they say something, I don't always call it out. I call it out significantly less than I used to, but I used to call it out. But one of my worst streams was when I don't know what happened. I don't know if I was put on front page or something like that. But I was averaging like 300 viewers maybe. And all of a sudden I had like 2,000 people in my stream, or like 1,000, something like that. Something crazy that I was not prepared for. And I didn't have a lot of mods, and the chat was just abysmal.
Was it a fortune raid?
No, I've thankfully stayed under the radar from 4chan, but I think I was just put on front page for whatever reason, or I was promoted by somebody, I don't know. But the chat, like I'm a person with very thick skin, it's very easy for me to deal with that shit. But for some reason, just seeing the same thing, the same sort of comments over and over again, just spamming the chat, that does get to you. I mean, it's very easy to say you just need thick skin, you need to deal with the trolls, it's going to happen. But when your entire chat is just like fuck this bitch, show tits, blah, blah, like that like it drives you crazy. And I ended up like ending my stream. Like I started crying. I was just like, I can't, like, I don't know what happened. That was awful. It was terrible. And thankfully that's never happened again. And I hope that it doesn't. But that's the sort of shit that you do have to prepare yourself for, because it can happen. Somebody shouts you out and your channel gets too big, and I think definitely guys do deal with that, but I think it's a different sort of thing when somebody is harassing you based on your gender, because guys will say, oh, you're ugly, you're bad at the game, whatever. But when people come in and say, you know, show your boobs, or, you know, this girl sucks, and it's all pointed at the fact that you're a chick.
Yeah.
And that's the main difference. You know, when somebody comes in and just says, it's like whatever, some like completely neutral comment of whatever, I don't care. But for some reason, when it's targeted at the fact that I just have boobs or whatever, a vagina or something, you know, that hurts a lot more, because it's not like something I can help. I can't do anything about the fact that, yeah, maybe somebody tuned into my stream because they saw I was a girl. I can't do anything fucking about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what to do. Tell you to get out. I don't know. Like, I don't know if you're maybe watching because you think I'm cool. Like, and I don't want to have to apologize for that. That's not my issue. Mm-hmm. It's not my fault if you only want to watch a stream because it's a girl, and I shouldn't be getting shit on for that.
Yeah. None of us should be made to feel like we're ashamed of the fact that we're a girl.
No.
Because we're like, guess what?
Yeah.
We're girls.
So here's the thing, though. Like,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, no. I was actually going to ask you. Like, here's the thing. Like, Casey, your stream, you like, it's almost as though there's like that welcoming that welcoming factor there, right? Like, how do you do it? Like,
you are a different breed of human, dude. Like, this is why you're the fucking queen, man. Like, I don't know how you do it. Like,
whenever I first started streaming, I had like a no ban policy. Like, I just didn't ban anyone. So you can imagine the kind of toxicity I got. And I don't know, for me as an individual, I always found it more empowering to kind of confront them head on and be like, I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't care. I'm not going to ban you. Your words can stick there. I don't care. I don't know. I guess I just always kind of found it more empowering to deal with it that way. I don't know.
I can't.
You're a superhuman. Like,
yeah,
you are a superhero of some sort, because
I don't know. And I guess it was whenever I first turned on my stream, like, I knew what I was getting myself into. Like, I had been to 4chan before. I was like, okay, I'm going to turn on my stream for the first time, and I'm going to have somebody come in and call me a fat whale and tell me to kill myself. And I'm like, I'm okay with that, whatever. So it happened, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a fat whale. You know, it's impossible for me to find any man to have sex with me because I am so fucking ugly. And it's almost like they were just like thrown back by it. They're like, what the fuck? And they would almost just be like, why aren't the mods banning me yet? Why aren't the mods banning me yet? Like, why am I not banned? Why am I not banned? And almost like a point, it just got funny. And then they would eventually like turn around and be like, oh my God, Casey, I love you. I don't know. That's like... I don't know. I guess that's how CaseyTron kind of started. Yeah. And a lot of people ask me, like, how do I deal with all of it? And it's like, I didn't start out with like 3,000 viewers. You know, it started out slowly. So it was like an uphill thing. And I slowly, I don't know, got used to it. Like, at the end of the day, I know what kind of person I am, and I know why I stream, and I know I'm not that unfortunate looking, you know, so it's like, whatever.
I guess going into it knowing that that's exactly what you're expecting. I guess if you prepare yourself in that way, then it's a completely different story. So yeah, I mean, like, knowing that, like, second you're on the stream, you're going to have those people in the chat. I think that's definitely, yeah. I feel like if I had started streaming with that attitude, I probably would have had a way better time dealing with trolls.
It does. It does. Like, now at this point, it does make it better, or I wouldn't say better to deal with, but it makes it easier to deal with because I'm so used to it. And then it's so hard to even know, like I have so many people message me like after my stream, and they're like, hey, CaseyTron, I donated to you, calling you an ugly, fat, disgusting whore and telling you to kill yourself, but I really actually like your stream and I was just doing it for fun. I'm like, oh, okay. Whatever.
All right, sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, I am a rarity. And it's not that I would go and tell like any other female streamer to do that. That's just me as an individual, and that's what I can handle, I guess.
That's the other thing that kind of drives me nuts is that, like, obviously all girls are different because we are human beings, and all trolls are also different. You know, like, it depends entirely on the person that you're interacting with how they should be dealt with. Like if you do actively want to deal with them, right? Some of them, if you confront them directly and you're really aggressive, they back down. But sometimes that attention is like what feeds them, right?
Right.
And I never know. You just don't know. You just don't know what type they are. You know, what monster type they are. It's just it's impossible to know.
Yeah.
So a lot of times for me, it just makes way more sense to be like, look, if you say something shitty, I'm getting rid of you. And I don't care if you come back later and you're like, but I was just joking, or I don't understand, you're a bitch. I'm like, okay. Like, fucking deal
See, and
with
I mean,
it.
I can
You should have
understand
known
how
better.
I can understand how that's more empowering you to do that. Just be like, fuck you, you can't talk in my chat. Like, that's more empowering to you, and them coming in and being able to say that and me not being affected by it is more empowering to me. And I hate that I get
Right.
so much shit over it just because, I don't know, just because I'm different. I'm different.
I think it's awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it's
I wish
rad.
I wish I could like deal with it that way. I mean, at this point, I don't ever see those comments because my mods are so on top of
Right.
it.
Right.
Yeah, same.
And at this point, like, I don't even have to say anything. Like, my chat is always just like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. Like, you know, like, even if I wanted to have a no ban policy, like, my chat would never allow it. So it's almost like, for the sake of my chat, I don't let that sort of stuff come across because it bothers them way more than it does me, you know? So, but
Hello?
Yeah.
Right.
are you
And I
back?
mean-
Shannon. I was about to
I
say we should go to a
apologize.
break so we can get Shannon back.
Why was that Steven's face? What the
It
hell?
was Steven's face.
Why was
His
Steven's
beautiful
face
locks?
Because,
yeah,
because
technical
Steven.
difficulties. Apparently I'm just too awesome and JP's stream can't handle me right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You crashed it all with how beautiful you are.
Yep.
Yeah, well, hashtag
Bad.
fuck JP.
That's so gonna be a thing now.
Fuck hashtag drop frames. It's just hashtag fuck JP.
So I'm sorry. So I got cut off in the middle there. I think Renee, you had just jumped in. What did I miss?
I was just explaining how, and at this point now, I don't really see any sort of trolls in my chat, and even if I wanted to like create a dialogue with any of my trolls, they're either like deleted, banned, or timed out so quickly, or my own chat gets up their ass that I don't even like deal with it. And I don't know. I don't know if it's the same for anyone else, but I almost like, this is gonna sound like super cheesy, and I said it earlier in the chat, and I felt like it was cheesy too. But I honestly don't see trolls that often anymore. Like I feel like I'm
Same.
what's the word for it? Like I'm immune to it. Like when I see somebody saying like you're ugly, it's like I don't even see that. It just goes by as like gibberish words that I guess I'm just so used to it. I don't know. And that's not like just a girl thing. I think that's across all streamers who have an active chat. I think eventually you just like
You
become
get good at picking certain things out.
Yeah.
The chat like
yeah.
going really fast. Yeah.
Yeah, Casey and I were just saying that like both of us have very, very different methods for how we just deal with trolls or irritating people in general. And like just that, you know, they're all going to be different people who react to different things, but like we've found just very different ways to handle it across the board. And how, depending on like what kind of streamer you are and what kind of community you have, it's going to be totally different for you. What's going to work best to like maintain whatever it is that you want your stream to be.
Right.
and there's no right or wrong way. No way is right and no way is wrong. It's just whatever it's just whatever you want to do. And I think that's the thing that,
You
that
do
people
you,
get hung
boo.
up on. I think people get hung up on like you need to follow a certain format and you need to be a certain type of streamer to get any sort of attention or to grow or be successful in any way. Like there's a special recipe you need to follow, and I don't think that's true at all. I think if you go into Twitch with being what's the word I'm looking for? Confident and genuine with who you are and what you want to do, then I think you'll be successful as long as you stick with it and don't give up and get I don't know, discouraged.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to fully agree with that. I think something too that kind of has fallen out of all of this is very much that you guys you walk into streaming knowing that you're going to get trolls, and you walk into streaming knowing that your trolls are going to be specifically sometimes pointing out that you're female and negative things around that. but you're all okay with it because you know that that's a specific thing that you can build thick skin against, and that's easy enough to handle. The stuff that becomes harder to handle is the stuff that happens after streaming. This is what I was saying earlier. And it's sometimes the hardest to deal with when it comes from fellow content creators. So this is where we're going to move on to the Sky Williams video that was released yesterday. Now, the first thing I'm going to say before anybody says anything and before chat gets carried away or anything is that I do not want this to be a dog pile on Sky Williams. Whether you agree with him, whether you partly agree with him, or you absolutely despise everything he said, doesn't matter. This is not, the point is that this is about a discussion. This is not pointing fingers or creating blame on anything. So I just want that to be clear before we move forward. So the video itself, let me just like grab the link for you and put it in the chats because I'm pretty sure
in the chat
has it. So here's the video that we're talking about. Yesterday, a very successful YouTuber named Sky Williams put out this video and addressed female streamers on Twitch. Well, actually, it wasn't specifically Twitch, but I'm just going to say it was Twitch. So he addressed female streamers, and one thing that he liked to point out, and I'm just going to actually recite a quote, if another female is streaming, playing in non-provocative attire with her attention on the game, she will be subject to the same torment that you, as in, you know, women who potentially dress a certain way or whatever, that you get when you just flaunt your body. So that's kind of what it felt like the video boiled down to. Now, there's one other thing, too, that he's actually tweeted several times since that video has been released, and he has stated that he feels he'll probably make a second video. He doesn't think that he addressed the other side of the coin as much as he wanted to, although he does make mention that men are also to blame for this issue. But I think what he was getting at, because of some of the feedback that he was receiving on Twitter and on YouTube, that he didn't address it enough. So at the very least, there is that. I'd like to know just initially what you guys' thoughts on this is, and then we'll get into some of the more detailed aspects afterwards. So, any takers?
I think my primary issue with the video is it pits. It basically separates all female streamers into two categories.
Yep.
You have your whatever legit streamers, female streamers, and then you have your titty streamers, and you're pitting them against each other, and that's irritating and frustrating and not okay. Like it's just like what we were just talking about. Whatever you feel comfortable with, as long as you are following rules of conduct and terms of service, you're not breaking any fucking rules. You decide how to do your stream however the hell you want. Mm-hmm. If you want to show skin, if you want to, you know, make that about, you know, if that's the sort of community you want to cultivate, then you are empowered to you can do that. And I don't like having this conversation of there is a right and wrong way to be a female streamer here. You know, like that's not what this community is about. Because when you look at guy streamers, there's not legit guy streamers and regular and not legit guy streamers at all. That's not something that happens.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
All I was going to say was that there have been so many times where I've said something on a stream, in a video or otherwise, and I get a response that's almost like I'm expected to be the voice of every girl gamer. Like, you're giving girls a bad name, or I'm so glad that you spoke up for girls everywhere. And I'm like, I'm not. This is my opinion as an individual. Like, I'm just a person. And that doesn't happen. I don't think I've ever seen that happen with dudes. When dudes say, like, you know, here's my opinion on this, the immediate response isn't like, you know, you're representing men everywhere right now. But for some reason, because we're considered to be so sparse in a group of like, and just a male dominated thing, we're expected to like have a standard that can reflect the entire gender, which is ridiculous. So I hate this idea of saying to somebody like, you are giving all female streamers a bad name. You are the reason that men come to female streamers and say, oh, where are the boobs? All of the other girl streamers have boobs. It's
Yeah,
like,
that argument
no,
is so
fucking
stupid.
don't. Like, it doesn't
No.
even make any sense to me.
Yeah,
Like,
if
none of us should
everyone-
be expected to represent all girls. It doesn't make any sense.
And if everyone wore turtlenecks on their streams, there'd still be that asshole who comes in the stream and says, "Where's boobs?
where's the boobs?"
Because it's the fucking internet. That's what people do. It's dumb. Like, it doesn't matter if every single person covered themselves head. It doesn't even matter if nobody had a webcam. People would still go when they're asking for boobs. Like, it has nothing to do with girls having their boobs out on stream. And the reason I speak so I'm so heated about this is because I used to have that shitty fucking opinion. I used to think the same goddamn thing. And thankfully I've grown up from that and I have a completely different opinion, but I used to think the same thing. I used to be like, oh, these girls have their boobs out, they're making a bad name for us. And no, it's not. It's people trying to pit women against each other. And honestly, it's other women who make it worse, when we're pitting people against each other. It's other women speaking out saying when people say, I think you're so much more legit than this streamer, and the person saying, thanks, that means a lot. It's shitty, and we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be at each other's throats as women.
Yeah,
we should be building each other up.
It's just like my hero, Tina Fey, says in Mean Girls, whenever other girls call each other sluts and whores, it makes guys think it's okay.
Exactly.
You know. Tina Fey, my hero.
Tina Fey. Tina Fey is bae.
More like Tina Bay.
Hey.
Did it. Nailed it.
I don't know. There are just so many things that are so frustrating about the video. I think that one of the first things that's frustrating is everybody's acting like Sky is making some radically new opinion that's super revolutionary that he's so brave for speaking out against. And it's no, this is something that brainless individuals have been saying for quite a long time now. And it's I don't know, it's just the fact that people are going to believe what he says is true despite how many holes are in his argument, no matter what, because that's what they want to believe. That video has a 90% thumbs up on YouTube right now. And I think that's incredibly frustrating. I don't know.
Yep. I actually have to echo what Renee said. About 2 years ago, when I was still quite new on Twitch, I had that same outlook. I felt as though I was being attacked for the way other people chose to run their streams. And there were times where I, actually noticed something that would be against the rules of conduct, the terms of service. And one thing that I learned was that that's a separate issue. Violating a rule is not the same thing as having anything to do with gender. And it took me a little while to notice that. And, I'm not happy that I used to have this opinion back then. But at the same time, it also shows me that it's a common thing to start off that way. And it takes a while to admit to yourself that gender is not a blame game. This is really got nothing to do with it. And it's sometimes it's hard to move away from that. So I think that's what a lot of people might struggle with. They just need to hear different points of view. And I think that I am actually really thankful to Sky Williams that even though he and I might not see eye to eye on this kind of stuff, at the very least, he's also furthering the discussion. And that's something that I'm really thankful for. The other thing, too, is that I kind of want to just tongue-in-cheek say, all right, if it's not, this percentile women to blame, then, all right, is anyone to really blame for the shit that goes on? are we going to point fingers at all? And if so, what are we pointing fingers at? Is it a gender? Is it a behavior? Is it a group? Is it anything? I'm just going to put that loaded question out there. Who do we blame for this bullshit?
I don't know if there's any, I don't know.
Sky said that he was going to make another video calling out the quote horny virgin nerds or whatever that give these women a platform to stream on, and I don't think that's fair either. Are they really who to blame for watching what they like to watch? That's like being mad at a 5-year-old for wanting to watch Barney. I don't know. I just don't think there's anyone to blame because there's no one at fault.
Yeah,
Such a beautiful way to put it.
yeah, no, that's the perfect way to put it. And it's like nobody's doing anything wrong. Yeah, like I think it just becomes like I think people get really mad because like especially in streaming, there's a comparison game. So when you see somebody else getting a ton of viewers for you just try and find a reason like how come I'm not that person? How come I'm not getting that many viewers? What are they doing that I'm not doing? And depending on your outlook, depending on whatever, you might be like, oh, you know, maybe they're really funny, or maybe you're just really, really negative and you want to say, oh, it's because she's pretty and she has her boobs out. It's all about that. And I think you actually mentioned that earlier. I don't know, I don't remember where you said it or if you mentioned it earlier, but it doesn't matter if you have like skin showing, you still have to have something to go with it. I think people will tune in and they'll still give you that initial traffic, absolutely, but you can't be successful if the only thing you're doing is sitting there with skin out. You need to have like a personality. You need to be funny too. And there are a lot of girls out there who have glorious, glorious breasts and they show them off, but they're also fucking hilarious and they're super entertaining and they put on a good fucking show. And that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter what you're wearing or whatever. I mean, there are guys out there who sit there and they just sit there doing absolutely nothing. And of course, nobody's going to watch them. And if you sit there doing absolutely nothing, nobody's going to watch you.
Right. Which I think is one of the things that's even almost more disappointing is you would think that Sky as a streamer would know that there's more to streaming than that, especially as a successful streamer. Like I know that there are a lot of streamers who probably don't get a lot of viewers and they are new to Twitch and they want to blame it on other like females showing skin or whatever. But if you've been doing this for a while and you're a good streamer, you're going to get views regardless.
Yeah, exactly. It has nothing to do with your boobs. Yeah, you'll get initial traffic and maybe you'll have a huge blow up of like 1,000 people one time. And then if that's the only thing you've got going for you, you will fade into obscurity. It happens over and over again. Like every other month we have like some channel blowing up being people freaking out over some girl with her boobs out. And it's like you never even hear about that chick ever again.
Yeah.
Rarely, maybe something else will happen, but generally they just fade away and they're not a problem.
I
They're
mean,
not
like
a problem at
last
all.
week it was did you guys see the Borgor thing that was like the DJs and the party?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that? Like that, I don't know how many views they got up to, but it's like they didn't get any promotion from it. Like nobody's going and watching them on Hitbox. Like nobody cares that much.
And people act like these female streamers who do this are like ruining Twitch. They're taking all the viewers. They're taking our viewers away, guys. Like, no, they can't do this. They're destroying Twitch. And it's like, no, dude. Like, it's like a couple hundred people, maybe 1,000 people, but fucking League of Legends is still going to be the #1 game regardless of whether this girl is doing this. Relax. Calm the fuck down.
That's the thing is so many girls that I know that get into YouTube or streaming or whatever, there's always a moment where they're like, it just pisses me off because I know that if I like had my boobs out, I would get views so much faster. I'd get subscribers so much faster. It's like, that's not necessarily true.
Maybe for a little bit, sure, but eventually
maybe for a little bit, but in the end, if that's not something that you feel comfortable with, if you don't want to be presenting yourself that way, then don't. And play the long game, man. Like, there's the short game and there's the long game, and the short game doesn't last forever. The long game is when you have the personality and the entertaining persona and the entertaining stream and content that's going to keep people going, man, I want to see if they've put up a new video. I want to see if they're streaming right now. And you don't have that if literally all you have going for you is like what you look like in that moment. It's just not, it's not sustainable that way. So you have to just be true to you, be whoever you are, and maintain your stream, your videos, yourself, however you want people to see you and however you want people to interact with you. Like, you can't base that off of anybody else, and you can't try to speed that up and be disingenuous either, unless you've created a character and that's what you want to be doing. Like, it's entirely down to what you see in your vision as your content. So
and I mean, by the logic, like, just to play devil's advocate, if we were to say that it's true that if you show a lot of cleavage or you play a certain type of character on stream, to garner follows or viewers or donations or whatever the case. By that logic, there should be like a massive percentage of the top streamers on Twitch that are all this approach. Now, I actually went on Social Blade and counted how many female streamers are in the top 100 channels on Twitch, and it is 8. There are 8 females in the top 100 most followed channels on Twitch.
But we're ruining Twitch.
But we're ruining everything.
We're
The
ruining
sanctity of
everything.
marriage. Oh my
Casey
God.
Tron, you are ruining Twitch. Why? Stop ruining Twitch.
I'm sorry for ruining this like sacred holy synagogue that is Twitch and wearing tank tops on stream.
Yeah, it's a very contagious disease that is spreading at rapid amounts. It's taking everything over, and it is just
That actually, I had no idea. That number, that is.
I definitely thought it would be
surprises
more
me.
than that.
Too.
That's.
I know. I was
shitty.
surprised too. I really thought it was going to be more.
8
but I actually checked
in the top 100.
Yep, 8, less than 10%. So there you go. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Anytime anyone makes any fucking comment about female streamers, and from now on, it's gonna be like 8.
Yep, 8. All right,
8.
All right, bitch, 8.
Oh my God.
So I mean, and that kind of brings up something else. Now, because I go on the Reddit a lot, the Twitch Reddit, I see a lot of comments, and this is the other thing too, is that this topic, discussing whether or not women are doing harm to themselves on Twitch as a gender, it comes up a lot. And one of the recent comments that actually happened in the last few days, I'm not going to say who wrote this, but someone wrote that the top 20 streamers in most big games are pros, and then women, and then everyone else. So I actually went through some of the top 12 games that were on Twitch this morning, and I looked
Shannon,
through.
I love how on it you are. You're like,
I
I am gonna journalism the shit out of this.
I like checking, and I like knowing if that's the case. I want to know.
Dude, I never check my numbers
feels this
ever.
way.
Nothing.
And
I
it just
never check.
it feels as though it's kind of coming more from. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's something that you want to see, so you look for it. And I mean, let's fucking face it. Boobs draw the eye. All right, I'm just gonna say
True.
it. Boobs are cool.
Doesn't matter who you are. You're like, boobs, dang, those are fun.
Yeah.
Dang.
Ah, dang, wow.
Oh boy.
If you see a
Gee
bunch of
willikers.
thumbnails, yeah, and if you see a bunch of thumbnails, and maybe in the 50 or so thumbnails that you see for any game category, you might see a couple of them or whatever, and it doesn't matter where they are in the placement, your eyes are drawn to them. So what you tell yourself is that, the top few right here are going to be pros. Those are going to be the esports people. Doesn't matter what game it is. Apparently they all have esports or something. And then there's like this whole section of boobs, and then everyone else at the bottom. That's actually not the case. That's not what I found anyways. I mean, if I'm wrong, please tweet me a screenshot and just show me that I'm wrong, because
Show me
it's
the
not what
boob.
I found. I just didn't find that. And so there's an underlying issue there. What is causing these people, male or female, to feel as though this is how Twitch operates? I mean, I don't quite get it, why they're convincing themselves of this and where it's coming from. And I mean, do we feel that success comes easier if you do that? Like, is that actually the case? Like, maybe that's the issue, If so, is that because they're women? Is it because they're a minority? Is it because they're showing skin? And if not, is it something else? Like, what is causing people to feel as though women are being displayed higher up on the page? Where is that coming from?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
All I was gonna say was, I think when there is a stream with like boob cam, like full on for reals boob cam, it gets shared around a lot, and it gets a lot more attention, and people talk about it more for whatever reason. In the same way that like if somebody is doing a crazy dance on their stream, everybody's like, you gotta see this. It's the same sort of thing. And I don't know if it's just because like boobs are a lot easier to come by than that guy who's doing a crazy dance, right? They're just like, hey, you should watch this stream, and it's just boobies. And then you're like, God, there are just so many. Oh, what's up with all these boobs all over the place? Like everybody keeps like tweeting me boobs.
Yeah, I think
know.
it becomes viral, so you feel like it's a lot more prevalent than it actually really is. It's like
Yeah.
not. And I think another thing is it's an easy scapegoat. Just like just how I mentioned earlier, like I think especially because mainly this outrage comes from other streamers, because we're the people who or other personalities or people in the community, because we're the people who are sharing it on our Twitter. If no big person was sharing something, and that's how things get viral. And I think a lot of people, especially like streamers and YouTubers, we all have this problem of comparing ourselves, and we always want to try and pick out something that they're doing wrong or you're not doing right or whatever. And I think it's very, very easy to say she's only successful because of her boobs or her looks or her appearance. I think it's easy to say for a guy if there's a really good looking dude. Like, I don't know if that's actually very prevalent. I've never personally seen a really attractive guy and said his success is entirely owed to the fact that he's really attractive.
Yeah, God,
but I think
that bulge cam is just so obscene.
Yeah, or
the
even
bulge cam.
Like you're like, oh, he has such great hair. That's probably why he's so successful. I don't think that happens. I'm sure it does happen, a little bit, but not nearly as prevalent as when people want to discount a woman for her success because she's attractive or because of her appearance. And I think that's shitty, and that comes with a whole different sort of social issue that is way bigger than Twitch. And it's like I said this earlier to Shannon, but it's really annoying that Twitch is like some sort of on the front lines of this whole gender issue among video games, because it's not an easy thing to deal with.
I mean, the goal, right, is that somebody would say, it just seems like, at the top when you click on a game, it's the esports, and then it's everybody else. And it's not just, there's the girls, and then there's the boys. It's like, why? We're all fucking humans. Like, what are we supposed to do?
I mean, I don't think it's entirely true that cleavage is what gets you viewers. And I think it's happening less and less because it's just becoming so saturated, at least especially under League of Legends. Like, I see so many girls that stream in like a low-cut shirt and they're still only pulling 20 viewers. I think at the end of the day, what really is going to generate you random traffic isn't so much cleavage as what it is controversy. And I think cleavage can be very controversial. I don't know, you know what I'm saying. I think controversy generates your viewers way more than what, I don't know, just like being a girl sitting in front of a camera.
I mean Exhibit A is this podcast. Like, there's a huge number of viewership because we're talking about something controversial.
It's true.
Well, and I mean, like,
that's very
not
true.
to like say anything, but you like saw Sky Williams viewers like shoot up dramatically yesterday after he released that video. I think, and like anytime there's any drama going on Twitch, like between certain people, like everybody always floods to their stream. I think I don't know. I really think cleavage, plays some part into it. But if all you're going to do is sit there in a low-cut shirt, you're not going to get above 20 viewers, probably. If you do something controversial along with it, then I think you'll shoot up in viewers. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
No, I completely agree. But,
I actually noticed something coming out of chat as well. So someone's talking about esports professionals that are females and why we don't see them as much on Twitch. I mean, they exist. They're out there. They're, entering championships. And there was that controversy, I think a few months ago, where one of them was harassed at a tournament. I want to say that was somewhere in Europe as well. I actually think it was a StarCraft tournament. Does anybody have any idea what I'm remembering here?
Oh my gosh, this sounds familiar, and I'm not
Esports.
sure.
Yeah, there was a girl who was like who was harassed by a guy. She actually didn't. The funny thing is, all I remember from the story was that it wasn't actually her who, wanted to have this issue dealt with. It was actually just other people. And then she kind of got the blame for the fact that other people wanted to deal with it. So anyways, there might be some issue there with why esports professionals that are female don't come into a Twitch community. Maybe they feel that this is entirely speculation, but maybe there's something in there that they feel they're not welcome. Maybe they'll be dealing with a lot more tension or trolling than they get at tournaments, and maybe that's just not worth it for them. Or it could be something entirely different. They just don't have the time.
I mean, the conversation has definitely come up of like, why do we have women's game tournaments when there are definitely tournaments where women are welcome technically? The question has been raised, like, why would you have a tournament that's for women only? And the general answer that I think we were really able to come up with was that for the most part, women want kind of a stepping stone to create comfort and to create like the confidence to be able to move on, because a lot of times jumping straight into this situation where you might be one of literally the only girls in a tournament where we have really built up this idea of aggression against women in a tournament setting or against women in a gaming setting at all. Like people are starting to feel like that is necessary to be like, everybody needs to, you know, girls can go into the girl tournament. And then like, if they feel comfy, they can go into the boy tournament, right? It's like,
yeah, that's really bizarre.
it's a bizarre idea, but I understand where it comes from, you know, specifically because of how just like the feels and how everything has been lately. Like everybody feels like they need to coddle and continue to separate, when in reality what we need to be doing is mixing to the point that there isn't anything strange about a bunch of female streamers being up at the top on Twitch or a bunch of females being involved in esports. Like that's where we want to go, but a lot of people are lacking the confidence because it's not quite as mainstream yet, I think. And there's a lot of strange jealousy and aggression that comes out in that scenario.
And it just comes back to a lot of like, when you're a professional, you first of all have to go through the hurdles of proving to everyone that you are pro and that you have the skills to play the game. And then you have a whole other set of hoops that you need to jump through just so people take you seriously in the community itself because you're a fucking woman. That kind of just goes back to the fact that like it's like this whole like nerd cred thing. Like if you want to be part of the nerdy community, you need to be like, oh, you like Batman? Well, have you read the Batman comics? Have you read all 1,000 billion Batman comics? Like it's so that sort of thinking is so dumb, and it happens all the time. It's so prevalent.
And the truth is, I think women shouldn't have to feel like they should have to justify themselves to them at all. Like, if you're a woman and you play games, you shouldn't have to justify to anyone why you play games, like, at all.
And that's where I think it's important for other women to step up and be like, no, fuck you. She doesn't need to do that. Because, you know, whenever a guy comes up, they're always like, oh, white knight. And, you know, whenever a dude tries to come by your side, everyone's going to try and shit on him for whatever reason. So I think it's extremely important that more women in this community start supporting each other and start, you know, helping people feel comfortable and shit. Like it's so irritating whenever I like find a streamer that I like and then, you know, I see somebody like some other woman shitting on them and I'm like, dude, like
stop.
Stop. Like it frustrates me so much. It
doesn't mean that it needs to be like a girls club, right? It's just we need to be supporting each other.
Yeah,
just in general, it doesn't.
Nobody else is going to. You know, we need to.
For sure.
I mean, that's kind of what both Renee and I admitted that we used to think that way, and we had to admit.
No, I will be the first one to admit that I used to have the shittiest opinions about a lot of different things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When you're like, I had horrible opinions about a lot of things, and I will admit that I've grown away from those. And I think a lot of people, I think it's okay to admit that. It's okay to say that you've grown and you have changed your opinions.
It's important to say that, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that's going to hold you back from that is either ignorance or pride. So, you know,
get over it. I definitely, especially in high school, I was definitely that girl who was like, yeah, all my friends are guys. Like, I hate girls. They're just so like over dramatic and they're like the worst, you know? Like, I much prefer to be hanging out with guys. And like, whether or not I had mostly guy friends, it didn't matter. The fact of the matter was I was that girl who was like too cool for girls, you know, like I don't want to be hanging out with girls. They suck. Because I had totally bought into that weird societal expectation for like
internalized misogyny.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
that like
That is the word for it.
I need to be the cool girl, and the way I'm going to be the cool girl is shitting on other girls like the guys do.
Yeah,
and like
the
that's
only
so
way to
fucked
be the
up.
cool girl is to be more like a guy, and
Yeah.
that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
I'm actually
But
gonna
that's,
I'm actually gonna call you out a little bit, Renee. Then I'm gonna say that to me, at least in my opinion, your stream has this very bro atmosphere to it. Actually,
that's just because I'm weird.
But again, like you
I'm
should
not
be
saying
true
that
to
that's
yourself.
Yeah.
Whoever,
Yeah, I mean-
whoever you are.
I mean, my
whether you're
main thing
broy
is
or
like a
not.
red Solo cup, which is like when you think of red Solo cups, you think like college. So I guess that's sort of like the same
Yeah.
thing. I always try and like make my stream like the vibe of my stream like just like hanging out with your friends, and it's super chill. Like I don't know. I'm just me, honestly. I'm just me, and maybe I put off a bro vibe or something. But I mean, I talk about girl shit all the time. I talk about my hair. I talk about
Badger
makeup.
is
Badger.
definitely not a bro.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm very open about being a feminist and talking about those sorts of topics and everything, and I've discussed it a little bit on my stream. So I think maybe generally I just have like a really weird bro vibe. I don't really know what a bro vibe is. When I think bro vibe, I think of a stoner vibe. Am I stoner? Do I have a stoner vibe?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like, oh shit, what was I even gonna say? Fuck, I interrupted you, and now I'm the shithead who's like, I don't know what I was gonna say.
I just wanted you to shut up.
Oh, what I was gonna say is that one of the big things about feminism that I feel like a lot of people don't really get as well is like feminism is fighting for girls and guys to just be who they are and not feel like they have to be anything other than who they are. Like if Renee is, like super masculine sometimes, then like who fucking cares, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
And
Renee being Renee. And
Yeah,
it's the
and
same
if
for
this
me.
guy is
Sometimes I
more
can
feminine-
be super tomboy.
Yeah, and if this guy over here is a bit more feminine or whatever, and likes feminine things or feminine, I guess whatever feminine oriented things, then he should be allowed to do that too. It works for both parties. But I don't know if we want to get into a discussion of feminism because that'll be
No, yeah, that's opening a whole other can of worms. The debate about what the title should mean and what it actually is, and calling yourself this means that, and oh fuck, no, we're not going to go into that because that's just.
It ties
But
back, though.
I'm happy to have that
It ties
discussion
back
with
to
anyone who
this.
would like to.
Yeah. So like, okay, let's kind of look at it from a different angle then. Like, we talked a little bit about how there's, I gave you the stat. There's 8 of the top 100 channels on Twitch are female. Now, I'm going to reserve what I'm going to say about that for just a second. And I'm going to ask you guys that if Twitch were to get involved and change anything, what would you like to see Twitch change that might help the situation out, if anything? Or should they just not get involved?
I don't. I mean, I really don't think there's anything Twitch can really do that they. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't think there's anything Twitch can do that they already haven't. Like they try to feature female streamers on their front page, and then I know they have like a partner of the week spotlight thing where they feature like, some of the smaller streamers to try to get them popularity and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of out of Twitch's hands.
Yep.
And I
Would you
think
guys
like
like to know
even
some stats on that? Actually, the partner of the week.
Yes.
sure.
So for the 8 total that they've had, 3 have been women and 5 have been men. And next week will actually be a female, so it's pretty balanced.
Even, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
Cool.
And I think like I'm an optimist in that way, and I do think that the issue is getting a lot better. I think, especially on Twitch, I think I'm seeing like me personally. Whenever I find a female streamer, I try my best to pimp them out way more than I do with guys because I'm a girl and I like to find more female streamers. And I like to support them, and I don't think that Twitch could ever do like a women only partner spotlight because that would be a whole fucking outrage and people would cry sexism all, they can't do that. But for me, as somebody who has influence in some way, I do tend to look more for female streamers who I want to get more attention in whatever, by tweeting their stream or talking to them or whatever, giving them advice. That's something that I feel I have the opportunity to do, and I wish more fellow female streamers or YouTubers would take advantage of that more. And I know guys will probably be like, oh, well, that's sexist because you're only looking for women. But women have such a more difficult, there's 8% or 800. Like
8 out of 100. Yeah.
Like it's,
I mean, that's a very small slice of the pie, but yeah, it just.
yeah. I mean, I want more women to be comfortable doing this because I want to see more chicks doing cool things. I want to find more. I follow so many girls on Twitch and they're all amazing. They're all hilarious, like genuinely rad chicks. And I wish they got more attention and they weren't so immediately discounted because they're a chick or whatever fucking reason you want to discount them. Yeah, I just want more chicks supporting chicks, I guess is what it comes down to.
Yeah, as far as like something I don't want them to do, linking to what we've talked about today, I definitely wouldn't want them to try and make their, I guess, like dress code, terms of service any less vague, because then it literally does become like a high school dress code.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not helping anybody. That's just like making everything way more complicated.
Makes it high school.
Yeah. It's like, as long as everybody's wearing skirts that go below your knees.
Yeah.
And no shoulders, because, shoulders make people think impure things.
Because God is watching.
And God is always watching.
Oh God.
Always watching.
And this is me completely removing my admin hat for a second. I really don't want anyone to think of me in this light right now. But Twitch, every few months or so, maybe twice a year, they update their rules of conduct. And it's always in, small ways whenever there's, whatever prompts it. There's something new, some new development on Twitch that they just go, oh, right, we have to address that. And they'll address it in the rules of conduct and that. So it doesn't get often updated, but when it does, there was a point last year where the dress code actually was revised. And for the first 4 months or so, I received random tweets of people screenshotting things to me and sending them saying that this was clearly a violation of the rules and that I needed to do something about it. First of all, it's never a way to get something done. This is where I'm going to put my admin hat back on. If you really have a problem and you think someone's violating the rules, just report it. Tweeting is do nothing. The second part of that, though, is that it was kind of just like a little bit confusing that people could read the rules in such a different way than what I thought they said. So, and that's not necessarily saying something that there's a problem with their perception or even with the rules. It's just something that is just a fact of people, because we all have different perceptions and that shit is going to happen. We're all going to see things differently. And I didn't like that they would send me pictures of literally someone who had maybe about an inch or two of cleavage, not even something with like a full-on push-up bra. At least it didn't seem so to me. And this was clearly, they should be removed from the site. And that's something that I don't really know how to address, but
that's something you just have to look at and laugh, right? Like,
yeah. It's a bit baffling. That's all I kind of want to say about it. Like, but what do you guys think? Like, should there really be specific rules like that get very, very detailed, or is it just like what you might feel offended by? That's cool. Just report it. Whatever else. What do you think?
I think it's super dangerous to start saying, like, because there are chicks who just have big boobs and they can't handle it.
Yeah, man.
Like if you're in California and it's 80 degrees outside and your AC isn't working, you shouldn't be expected to have to wear a shirt. If you want to wear a tank top and you just happen to have big boobs, you should be allowed to do that. Nobody's going to fucking report you. If you're just sitting there like with your, if you're actually taking a titty out and showing it to the world, then you got a problem and that's not okay.
That's what people act like, though. And it's so funny because I hear that so often. People are like, Casey Tron shows tits for viewers, and it's like, I don't know if people like actually think that I'm like that I have some intermission in my stream where I show like where I literally show my tits.
One.
It's like
and here's
full areola.
Like, I hate that comment. It's like, what are you even talking about? Like, I don't know.
only 1 inch of areola is allowed at Twitch.
Yeah,
right?
excuse me, madam.
Excuse me. Your pepperonis are very offensive.
God. Well, there it is. All right.
Oh, shit.
So I think we're probably going to move on to a little bit of question time right now. I actually want to just take a moment to say thank you to JP's chat. You guys are awesome. I'm actually noticing that the chat is overwhelmingly really constructive.
The chat
really
has been so
interactive,
good. It's been
super
awesome.
mature. I mean, we don't all have to agree on everything. I'm just really fucking happy that you guys are so like excited to talk about this, and you're all cool, and
Totally.
that's some good shit. So you know, itmeJP tip to you. So that was really awesome.
Good
So
job for not
some of the
being
questions.
your chat is significantly less shitty than you are, JP.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. JP, you still suck.
Hashtag fuck
But your
JP,
chat-
but hashtag hug JP's chat.
Fuck JP, love JP's chat.
Oh, do you guys know that he's gonna shave his beard?
That's unfortunate.
Did you know that?
I did not.
The beard's going away.
Were you
he
not supposed to
announced
announce that? Does he already know?
No,
Did
no,
people
he
already know?
announced
Oh,
it.
okay.
And if not, and even if he didn't announce it, fuck it, whatever. It's my show now, so I'm just gonna. Yeah, no, he's gonna shave his beard, so I'm actually kind of excited for that because it's gonna be real cool.
He's gonna look like a babby.
He is. It's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be that
spam
crazy.
the itmeJP babby emote.
Oh my god, just
It's a babby.
really
Oh, shit, it's fucked up.
Super pissed.
How come it didn't show
He'll
up?
tell you the details later. It's actually really cool. I'm all for it. It's awesome.
Oh, my
So,
emotes
yeah.
aren't showing up for some
fucked.
reason. But
All right. So some of the first questions here. Actually, this is for Casey Tron specifically. Yeah.
what are you ruining?
Come up. Actually, sorry, I should say who it's from. Darum. So Darum asks, how did you come up with the concept for your Casey Tron character, and is it difficult to stay in character? Oh God, especially for 2 years.
I mean, I really hate it whenever people say that I'm like playing a character. Like people act like, I mean, it's really flattering, but people act like I like wake up every day and like write a 4-hour script for my stream, which like Stephen Colbert's entire writing staff of 20 people don't even do that. But I don't know, like I hate that people think that I'm playing a character. I mean, I guess to a certain extent, maybe I am, but I find myself like in so many situations, like just being my sarcastic self and people taking it as me playing a character whenever it's really just me being sarcastic. But I guess how I came up with the characters, literally, I just wanted to make fun of female gamer stereotypes is pretty much what I wanted to do. And maybe not even necessarily female gamer stereotypes, but also just gamer stereotypes as a whole. I don't know.
So like, you talk about making fun of female gamers or female gamers.
I don't think I'm making fun of female gamers. I think I'm making fun of the stereotype that people give female gamers.
Okay. So like the perception of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there like a political agenda there at all, or is it literally just to poke fun at it?
Just to poke fun at it. I think I'm not that serious.
So it's kind of like Stephen Colbert running for president. Like he's not really meaning anything.
Yeah.
It's just, look, because I can, because it's funny. So, you know, whatever. Yeah. I mean, I get it. And that's also... Ooh. All right. Oh, okay. Nothing. JP saying something. Okay, cool. Well, there's also other things that I want to ask you. That's also from chat. So, someone else also asked, and this is anonymous, so I won't say their name. So fine, you don't want your name said, so whatever. Is it possible for you to act like yourself on stream now and then, or do you feel like when that personality is what keeps people coming back? So, do you ever feel like you want to just be yourself, and does that ever happen at all?
I think I'm myself on stream like plenty of times. I think sometimes it just kind of meshes together very well because I have a very sarcastic sense of humor, I guess you would say.
All right.
I mean, I think there's some times where I'm like, full on Casey Tron, I guess you would say, but then there's some times where I'm just like making a sarcastic comment that, I as Casey would make, and people think that I'm playing into some sort of character.
Well, I mean, especially if you're the quote unquote writer for your Casey Tron persona. I mean, that is still going to at some point come from your own inspiration, come from you on some level. So there's going to be a little bit of bleed over, I'd imagine, like maybe at least in
exactly.
terms of your sense of humor or something, so and then also this is actually going to be a bigger issue question for everybody. So Large Richard, what do you think is the bigger issue? The sexualization and objectification of women on Twitch and on the internet in general, or the fact that in spite of this, women are still underrepresented? So obviously kind of thinking about that there's still a very small pool of women on Twitch, just in terms of sheer like percentage between the two.
I would argue that the fact that there's a lack of representation is probably the bigger issue, because the sexualization of women on Twitch, it's I feel like that would be less prevalent if women were more properly represented, I guess. I think if we saw more women on Twitch, there would be less people more inclined to talk shitty about another female streamer, because because they can look to another female streamer that maybe they're a fan of, and they're like, well, I wouldn't say that about her. Why would I say this about her? Because she's a girl, like, I feel like if we were better represented by, in general, I guess, on Twitch, I think that I think obviously people are always going to sexualize whoever because, that's just normal. And I think to a certain extent, there are a lot of women on Twitch who want to be sexualized. That's what they want to do. That's how they want to do their streams, and they're welcome to do that. And acting like that's a bad thing is stupid, because there's nothing wrong with wanting that.
Don't want it.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't like something, then don't watch it. So I think representation is definitely the bigger issue there.
I would agree with that. I think if we had more women of different types, I guess, I don't know how to put that. Like if there were more women, then more women would be able to find somebody that they connect with easier. Mm-hmm. Saying that, I do think that the complainers would ramp because already with 8 out of the top 100 streamers being women, there's already dudes
already
being like,
outraged over that.
Yeah, how come every time I go to find a stream, it's the esports people and then like girls? Like, what the fuck's up with that? It's like if there were even more of us, God forbid.
Or women get partnered easier. That's another one I hear all the time on the subreddit. Oh, women get partnered so much easier. That must be something. Yeah. Clearly, this is wrong, and
probably the pepperonis.
Yeah, that baffles me, because like whenever these discussions come up, something that people tweet at me all the time, and anytime I talk about female streamers, I get people asking me, do you know of any female streamers who aren't problems or whatever? Like, can you point me in the direction of non-problematic female streamers? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, people act like the only type of female streamers who exist are girls who are not entertaining and are just sitting there with boobs out, as if like that is the majority of female streamers. I'm like, no, there's so many female streamers out there, and I don't know. And I don't know if it's a matter of representation. I don't know if it's a matter of people not wanting to watch them because they're inherently female. I don't know if maybe they're marketing themselves the right way. Maybe they're too afraid to get out of their comfort zones and want to network with other people. I don't know what the issue is where female streamers are having a more difficult time getting noticed. But every time I'm always like, yes, here, like, I just want to create like a master list of female streamers that I love watching. And I might even just do that and be like, here's some of the female streamers that I watch. Like, me personally, I'm not going to say like these are the only ones that matter. It's just the ones that I watch personally, because there's so many people who act like they don't fucking exist, and it baffles me. Like, how do you not know these girls exist? Because they do.
It kind of feels like the saying that for every positive customer experience, that person will tell like, what is it, like 1 or 2 people or something like that. But if you have a really negative customer experience, then you go tell 10 people or something like that. There's like this that negative news spreads so much faster than positive.
We love to complain.
Yeah, and I just kind of wonder if maybe that has some bearing to all of this. Like, if you feel that every streamer or most female streamers are quote unquote problematic or part of this group of cleavage showing streamers that
Who were ruining Twitch.
yeah, ruining Twitch, right? With their pepperonis. It feels like maybe what you're just thinking is an actual psychological effect that's just telling you like you're only going to remember, or you're most likely going to remember the bad stuff way more than the good stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just the fact. Maybe that's just how it is for them, and they don't really realize that that's happening. And if that's the case, it's also not their fault.
I think that's why so many people like back Sky Williams' video, because they want to think that despite their own failures, they're failing because of somebody else. I think that in the end, if you want to be successful at something, you're going to be successful regardless of something. Whereas if you're going to sit there and blame your failures on what somebody else is doing, then you're going to continue to fail. I don't know. I think like so many people want to believe that they can't be a successful streamer because of somebody else, whenever the truth is all they're doing is causing themselves to fail by giving themselves excuses.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That was really well said. No, I think people end up like just messing up their own possibilities of success because they get caught up in this game of like, oh, well, I'm not going to succeed because I'm nothing like that person, or because I'm not this or that. And I mean, that's not even a gender issue. I think that's just the like disease of like Twitch casters and YouTubers just constantly needing to compare themselves to other people. And what I've always said when people, because I a lot of my friends are streamers and we all end up venting about our problems. And the one thing that I always say is that we are each a product. Each one of us is a product. We're trying to sell ourselves to people.
With a brand.
Yeah, we all have a brand, and it is all completely different. You know, even if there's another girl who has red hair and a tattoo and whatever, we are probably completely fucking different from each other. We have different experiences, different personalities. We have a different way of playing games. We have different things that we're into. And I think to compare yourself to somebody else is not giving yourself enough credit, because whatever your product is entirely yours. And comparing yourself to people is just it's such a waste of time, because it's apples and oranges. We're all apples and oranges, but not actually apples and oranges. That makes sense.
I mean, streaming is kind of a strangely personal thing though, too, because you're in the moment being entertaining. Like, you don't get to throw that thing in post and edit it so that you're really funny, right?
Yeah.
like if people aren't responding to you, it's hard to not take that very personally as like, what's wrong with me? And it is a lot easier to say that's because of somebody else, like you were saying. Yeah, I've found that when I do take offense or get insecure about something, it is directly related to me getting almost worried that I'm not interesting enough, that I'm not funny enough. Because that's when you're streaming, that is just purely you. Everything, every single moment is reliant on just you, you know? And that can be really scary sometimes. And until you get more comfortable with it, because a lot of time, man, guys, for those of you who don't do anything like this, talking by yourself to a camera is like super fucking weird for a while. And it can still be weird, yeah. And until you get really, really comfortable with it, sometimes you're gonna get really uncomfortable and insecure and feel, really strange. And that makes you, lash out and worry and want to blame it on things.
I think it's totally healthy to have that fear and have that sort of insecurity about things. And I think it's okay to have those moments of insecurity. I think the only problem that comes about is when you try and put that blame on other people and not being self-reflective enough to be like, okay, I'm just freaking out. I'm having a moment. It's nobody else's fault, and I'm fine. I'm just, you're having a moment, and you deal with that in your own way. It's when people start pointing fingers and blaming other people for whatever that becomes problematic, and that needs to stop happening. I think everyone has those moments where you want to put the blame on something, but the only person you can blame is yourself.
That's so true. So I think what we're going to do is actually wrap it up here. So just a couple things. What we'll do is if you'd like to make a closing comment at all, then feel free to do that, and then do your shout outs, like your talk about your channel and who you are and what you do, and then we'll just we'll go after that. It is actually 2:30 in the morning for me, so I'm like,
What a trooper.
yeah, I'm it's been a really interesting night. I've been really glad that we've had this chat, and it's been very eye-opening even for me to see that even me firm in my belief of where I stand, that there already is so much discussion going on, and I'm becoming more and more okay with the fact that not everybody agrees. That's taken me a lot of time, so I'm really happy about that. But as a last saying, I'm just gonna put this out there: blaming some women for how other women are treated or abused by everybody else, that's crazy. Please don't do that. That's it. That's my final comment. So I'm going to pass it to Dodger. Do your final comments and your shout outs, please.
I'm really, really glad that we did this. Thanks so much for watching, everybody out there. We wound up with like 21,000 viewers at our peak, I think, which is absolutely nuts.
Jesus.
I had never met Casey before. Casey, you're awesome and very well spoken.
Nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too. Renee, it was great having pepperonis and all that.
That's my legacy from Drop Frames. Pepperonis. First it was Badger with roleplay, and now it's pepperonis with Drop Frames. The best.
But I love you. You're great. And Shannon, you were a fantastic hostess. So I'm glad that we got to do this. And I feel like chat in general was just so positively responsive, so willing to have the discussion. And I know that was something that a lot of people were worried about. They were like actively concerned about us having this talk and talking about these things. And we should never be worried to talk about these things. And I'm glad that the people who are watching right now are fully supportive of this sort of a dialogue happening. So watch my videos on YouTube and Twitch.
Now the shoutouts. Go.
YouTube.com/pressart to continue, YouTube.com/dexterity bonus, Twitch.tv/dexterity bonus. On all the social medias, I'm at Dex Bonus. Come hang out. I love you all. Bye.
And time.
Good.
Did
That was
it.
awesome. Casey Tron, do any final thoughts and shout your stuff out.
I just want to thank you guys so much for welcoming me to the show and like asking me to be on the show. It really meant a lot. A lot of the time, I kind of feel like a little bit of an outsider. So I don't know. It was nice to feel, welcome and like
Come
an
to
insider.
PAX.
Yes.
Yeah, come to PAX.
And
drink with me.
God, you don't want to drink with her.
that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Watch my
Oh, I see your
stream.
cat. Is that your cat?
There's a kitty in the background.
Yes, it's my sister's cat, Kenny.
Aw.
Isn't he cute? But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. And
Come watch my stream.
yeah, you can check out lots of League of Legends and Hearthstone, and she'll be playing really soon with Renee, because that's going to happen.
Oh, Christ. I was hoping everyone forgot about that. Damn it.
All right, Renee, go.
First and foremost, thank you very much, Shannon, for hosting. He did an awesome job. And thank you, Dodger and Casey. I'm huge fans of you, so I've been like just trying not to fangirl too bad and over here. Case trying to have your shirt. I was almost gonna wear it, and then I was like, "That's not a good look," so I didn't.
You're gonna make
But
us laugh.
no, I've had a really good time talking to you guys. Chat, thank you so much for. I was expecting so much worse from the chat, honestly, but you guys have, even though we've all sort of disagreed on things, everyone has been super mature and super great. To any future female streamers out there in the chat, I just want you to know that I'm in your corner, and I'm always here as a resource if you ever need questions or anything. I'm like on everything, Twitter, Tumblr. I always want to keep that dialogue open for more women here in Twitch. And dudes too, I guess, but mostly chicks. That's all I care about. But I'm at twitch.tv/LOLRenee, youtube.com/LOLRenee, but I don't do YouTube, so don't even bother with that. And I tweet like 30 times a day on Twitter, so there you go. Thank you very much.
GG. All right.
all over
And I'm going to go. So I don't know if JP has a page for me. Oh, he does. Oh, bless him. So yeah, I am the I am an admin and a creator of. No, I'm not a creator, but cool. Thanks, JP. No, I'm just the owner and moderator of Twitch, along with an awesome, awesome moderation team. Yo, go subscribe to reddit.com/r/Twitch. It is a wicked community full of awesome people who are viewers and moderators and streamers and partners. We have a lot of big partners that are coming in and helping out, and so I'm just going to use all of my time to plug that. Go subscribe. It is awesome. I'm also going to just kind of give a couple final comments. So one thing, if you're a content creator, YouTube, Twitch, doesn't matter, and you want to engage in this topic publicly for whatever opinion you have, I just want to say, please be very careful in saying any initial comment or two and then walking away halfway through the discussion. It's not that I don't care what your opinion is. I'm just saying you can have whatever opinion you want, but I don't want you to engage people, not finish the thought, and then walk away. I love that Sky Williams is going to be making a second video. I hope he does. I love that the dialogue has continued on. And if you're going to engage in the dialogue, which I hope you do, make sure that you don't only get so far with how you think or feel on the subject. Go the full way, investigate it, talk with other people, and maybe we can just make all this stupid shit about girls and guys being different on Twitch go the fuck away, because it's kind of, just...
We're all nerds.
Yeah.
We're all fucking nerds with pepperonis, man.
And you all have followings. You're very influential by being a big streamer or a big YouTuber or whatever the case. So, respect that. And thank you so much for keeping that in mind. In closing, I'm also going to say thanks very much to Sky Williams for creating the video. And I really hope that we didn't have any too negative of trolls or anything like that be sent to you. So if we did, we apologize. It wasn't our intention. We're just really glad to engage in the discussion. Also, I wanted to thank JP, who is maybe back alive. I don't know. We'll see. It depends on how I feel. To CohhCarnage and to Ezekiel III. Thank you so much, you guys, for allowing us to steal your show and to have basically the most awesome time discussing this. And without what you've built in the last few months and the viewership that you guys get, we wouldn't have had this much success. What did we get? 21,000?
21,000 at
That's
the top.
awesome.
Absolutely nuts. So thank you so much, you guys, for letting us do this. This was a great hijack. I'm really, really humbled. And also thanks to Sakura for putting up with me being super stressed out about hosting this crap all week, because I was nervous.
You did great. You did a
really
very
good.
good job.
And that's everything. We're
You're
done.
way better than JP, for sure.
Well,
Hashtag
fuck
fuck
you.
Get JP out of here. Fuck you, JP.
But we love you, chat.
That's it. We
But
love
we
you.
love
Thanks
JP's
so much.
chat.
We'll catch you. We'll catch you another time soon. Hopefully, maybe we'll just just make this a regular thing somehow. We'll just have to nag
Just
JP. We'll
hijack
just
this
bribe
over and
JP.
over again.
Yeah, good. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. We're out.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, guys.